Tom Kaplan was born in 1954, a native Angelino, and his father, grandparents, and great-grandparents all had markets here in Los Angeles. His father, Terry Kaplan, bought Hugo's Fine Meats in West Hollywood in 1976 and made plans to expand the little butcher shop to a gourmet market and cafe. Tom joined his father in the construction phase, helped open the market and cafe in 1980 as Hugo's Restaurant, and has been there ever since. Along with his wife Emily, they built the business and were mentored in Terry's very loving philosophies of business and life. During these years known as the Gourmet Revolution, Hugo's was the market where local chefs liked to find new and exciting ingredients. Tom's expertise with French and Italian ingredients, combined with his passion for cooking, has kept Hugo's exciting and always evolving for 29 years. In 1987, Tom and Emily opened a second restaurant, Cafe Latte, in the Mid-Wilshire district. The store featured a handmade coffee roaster at the front door, and each morning they roasted coffee for Hugo's and several other restaurants around the city. It was here that the Kaplans met the Brenners, who shared the mutual love for all things coffee and tea, and together they opened Highland Grounds. At the time, it was LA's biggest, most exciting coffee house in 1990. In 2000, the Kaplans and Brenners again joined forces to open a second Hugo's location in Studio City, along with their newest partner and CFO, Bill Cohn. Together, the partners also created a successful spin-off concept, Hugo's Tacos, which opened in Studio City in 2005 and Atwater Village in 2008, infusing Terry's philosophy along the way. As CEO, Tom oversees all aspects of the business and meets weekly with his partners, the general managers, the executive chef, and the director of sustainability. He steers the direction the business is going, particularly with respect to menu choices and community relations. Conducting business with the company's mission statement in mind is one of the utmost importance to him. His goal is to expand the Hugo's brand while maintaining the family atmosphere that attracts our wonderful staff and customers. In the Kaplan tradition, Tom and Emily's children, Max and Molly, have worked and continue to work in the business throughout high school and while on their college breaks. Richard Brenner was born in 1954 in Chicago, Illinois. Being raised there taught him a few things. First, you have to work hard. His first job at 11 years old was as a newspaper boy. And second, being a Cubs fan, you had to learn to be optimistic. Richard worked his way through and graduated from Columbia College in Chicago in 1977. While going to school, he worked at and later was the manager of the most popular and influential blues bar in Chicago called the Wise Fools Pub. In 1980, Richard and his wife Leslie moved to Los Angeles. He worked at various restaurants learning different strategies and concepts. In 1986, he began working as a loan officer for Southwest Savings and Loan. He quickly became one of their top salesmen but had a different goal in mind, to open his own restaurant and bar. In 1990, Richard Brenner joined with Tom Kaplan to open one of LA's biggest coffee houses at the time, Highland Grounds, which featured a broad area of food and beverage as well as live entertainment. With his unique flavor, Highland Grounds spawned a whole generation of new musicians and was named Best Breakfast in the Afternoon and Best Coffee House by the LA Weekly, as well as Great Brunch Menu by Zagat. In 2000, Richard and his Hugo's partners opened Hugo's Studio City, and in 2005 and 2008, the team opened the 2 locations of Hugo's Tacos, a very successful quick service spin-off of the Hugo's formula. As COO, Mr. Brenner serves as construction coordinator for all our expansion projects. His daily work also includes responsibility for the kitchen's operations and building maintenance, with the guests' happiness the number one priority. In that vein, he's implemented 2 programs that are keeping Hugo's ahead of our competition. The first is the Kitchen Empowerment Program, designed to make everyone in the kitchen, from the dishwasher to the chef, accountable for the quality of our food and presentation. The other program is called Gift of Service. This program made a radical departure from the industry standard of upselling to encourage our service staff to invest time with each customer personally, making them welcome to Hugo's and aware of what our truly unique menu has to offer. Richard and Leslie have 2 daughters named Rachel and Maya, who along with Leslie contribute time and effort to the Hugo's team. Hi Prana Boosters, welcome to this episode of Prana Boost Radio. My guest Prana boosters today are Rich Brenner and Tom Kaplan, owners of the Los Angeles Hugo's restaurants. Happy Earth Day, guys.
Happy Earth Day to you.
Happy to have you. Now, Rich, we've actually connected in person a couple times. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you, Tom, so it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So we are huge fans. That's why you're actually invited on the show today, because I want to spread the word, and very, very grateful for what you guys offer for the community. I'm very excited to connect with you guys and share space with our audience. It's amazing to learn about what you guys do and what you have to offer, and honestly, it's very important to us as a family because we actually have 2 young daughters, and all 4 of us are vegan.
Excellent.
So
great.
Our eating choices are extremely, limited as far as eating out and eating at the restaurants.
So you must love our frozzato.
Well, it's funny you wrote that. That's my next thing I was going to say. But a typical day in our house kind of sounds like this. What do you guys want to do? I don't know. Let's go get frozzato. And obviously it means go to Hugo's because we don't go out to eat for ice cream anywhere else. So that's like big in our house. And it's a little bit of a drive for us. So, we're willing to drive in for it.
Well, thank you. It's quite an honor.
Yeah, it's really nice. So to get started, I would love to know, I just want to share with Rich and Leslie already kind of probably heard, but, Tom, for us, we actually try to gather family and friends and business meetings at your restaurants if possible. That way everybody can be happy.
Yeah, you don't have to ask people what their dietary restrictions are because we pretty much cater to anybody. We make everything from scratch, so it's really easy for us to accommodate different dietary needs. So we try to make it easy for for everybody to eat together.
Well, it's important, and just most recently when I saw you, Rich, I had brought my dad and my uncle, and previously we had taken my dad to a vegan restaurant, and we didn't completely tell him the truth that it was fully vegan, and he was real happy, and he really enjoyed it until he heard, and then he couldn't finish eating once he found out, but then we took him to Hugo's and we made up for it. So he had one of the most delicious, I think, chicken dinners he ever had, he said. And we all very much enjoyed it. But it's a huge challenge now for us, especially with us being mindful and changing our eating habits, to be able to go out to eat with family like we used to and, celebrate something or everybody get together around the table. And so we've done that in Studio City and in your Agora Hills location now.
We're a family restaurant. Tom's father started the whole thing, Terry. And we have families. Our families grew up in the restaurants. We all have different eating habits. And yet that was part of our consciousness when it came to thinking about our menu and making sure that a family can come in and eat and enjoy each other's company and not have to worry about the food aspect of enjoying each other's company.
Yeah, and you did that because honestly it felt so good for all of us to be able, everybody to be able to order what nurtured their spirit and what was important to them, and everybody, now more than ever, so many people have dietary restrictions and choices and desires and needs, and it's just more and more challenging. And
we probably tricked your father too, because he may have had a chicken dish, but he didn't know he was getting vegan side dishes and vegan sauces, and so probably half of his meal was vegan, and he didn't even know.
I know, and it's so wonderful. I actually, my mom, I don't know if she'll want me to tell this, but she's actually been lactose intolerant, for as long as I can remember. And I would always say, I'm not sure you should be taking the pill. Maybe you just shouldn't be having any type of dairy. And so once we started learning about it, she felt much better too. So even, for her, it's not even a choice. She literally can't eat it. And so it's important to be able to go to a restaurant where you can order like mashed potatoes, like you say, like side dishes that are actually, vegan.
We had some technical difficulty. You froze for a second. So can you just repeat that last bit?
Yeah. What did you last hear?
where your mom had to take a pill.
Yeah, right. So there used to be these lactate pills. And so, at some point I just said maybe it would be good just to not eat dairy instead of taking a pill to let you eat dairy. It just never felt right. So, I mean, for her to be able to go to a restaurant like yours and not necessarily be vegan, but to order like mashed potatoes that are vegan or a macaroni and cheese or something like that. Do you guys actually, she had a question she wanted me to ask, but do you guys offer dishes that are made from cashew milk as well? Do you guys use cashew milk?
Yeah, we do. Our nacho cheese sauce is cashew based.
Okay.
And some of the Frozzato has cashew cheese in it. Well, the soaked cashews
Right.
with white sweet potatoes.
Mac and
So
cheese.
so we don't use a lot of it. We don't want to go too nut heavy because
Because
it
people
makes
have
food
nut.
too rich.
Yeah. Yeah, and then
But-
some people have nut issues too. I know. So so I would love to hear. I don't want you to go too far back, but how many locations do you have then? So of the
We
restaurants.
have 3 Hugo's restaurants.
Mhm.
Our original in West Hollywood, Studio City, and Agora Hills.
Okay.
And then we have the 3 taco stands in Studio City, Sherman Oaks, Atwater Village, and Woodland Hills.
It's wonderful. So are you guys planning on opening up any new locations or anything like that? Any other locations in the works?
Are you offering?
Often.
No, we don't have plans today. We always keep our options open. We're looking for, we always want to see what's out there. So we don't say no. We look at different places, but we're a very, very complicated restaurant. And, each restaurant makes about 400 recipes a day or every other day for our 70 menu items.
It's amazing.
So when we open a restaurant, it's a tremendous amount of work, not just to train the cooks, but to train the staff to know what's in everything. So it's no small venture. So when we open the next place, we want it to be, a pretty perfect location.
Yeah, I can imagine. I would love to talk to you more about that in the future. Honestly, for us, we've had the wait staff has been so knowledgeable. I don't know how they even do, keep track of everything. I think the hardest challenge about your restaurant for me is that, I'm used to not having a lot of options. There's so many options. You can't figure out what you want to eat, and they're all delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And we have something now. It's we've always had it, but it's being improved. On our website, on the menu page, on the right column, there's an allergen button, and you can click on that, and you can get all the common allergens and all the ingredients in every item on our menu. And then above that, it will say vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free. If you push on one of those buttons, it will sort the menu so that if you're vegetarian or vegan, whatever, only those items will come up. So you can use your phone or your laptop to really narrow down our computer to make it easier for you to navigate.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's amazing. Oh my God, that's so helpful. That's so innovative. You guys, that's so amazing. That's like there's a lot of anxiety about food these days,
Yes, a lot.
And there's anxiety with us too because we're not a devoted gluten-free kitchen. We're not devoted vegan. So, of course there's always a chance of a mistake, but honestly, we serve thousands of people a week and it rarely ever happens. But our priority is really introducing people to different types of, dietary options and to be all inclusive. We can't do it all perfectly.
Yeah.
So a hardcore vegan may have a little bit of a problem at a Hugo's, but most vegans love what we do because, our background is being in 35 years of being in the gourmet foods business. our priority is that everything has to taste, a vegan option has to taste really good for a non-vegan in case they order it, you know. And I gotta say, I've been to a lot of vegan restaurants. There's a lot of items that are, yes, they're vegan, but no, I wouldn't order it again.
Yes.
And our restaurant, everybody would like every item on the restaurant.
And I want to say one other thing too.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned about the waiters, and you know, we spend a lot of time training and educating our waiters, and it's a constant process. On top of that, something that actually Tom innovated was the allergy alert. That if you really have an allergy problem, you tell our waiters, and there's a system we have to denote that particular dish is this allergy. You know, you have to be conscious of this allergy that's coming, you know, they shouldn't be getting. So we, you know, if you come in and you do have that kind of problem, you tell our waiters, and we'll make sure that, you know, to the best of our abilities, you're taken care of.
Okay, awesome. That's really good to know. I know sometimes places that you go to, if you don't say that you don't have an allergy and they just think that it's a preference, they're not as mindful. So the fact that you guys have that system in place, it's really good to know. So are either of you or your families vegan? What was the motivation to even offer vegan, or was it just because you knew about it? Are you guys vegan or vegetarian?
I happen to be vegan, and one of my daughters is vegan.
Okay.
Tom, you know, as always, is out there, and in the most appealing way. I remember, the way I remember it, Tom came back from a retreat and wanted us to start doing more vegan food. And it progressed from there. You got to remember, or maybe you don't even know, but we started out as a butcher shop. So the evolution from a butcher shop to where we are now is pretty amazing.
Well, a butcher shop that my dad wanted to have a lot of accompaniments for his meats, and most of those accompaniments were vegetarian items. So even from our early days as a butcher shop, we had a lot of people with vegetarian interests, a lot of yogis coming in because we were one of the few vegetarian restaurants in 1980.
Yeah.
And really, yeah, my lifestyle as a yoga student, yoga teacher, and also a lot of our staff was becoming vegan before I even ever heard the word vegan. And they're the ones who kind of alerted us primarily to this concept of no animal products. And we don't buy pre-made foods. It took a little bit of time, but it was pretty easy for us to go through all of our recipes and take out animal products where they weren't absolutely necessary. Same thing with gluten. We found out that we really didn't have a lot of gluten items in our menu other than the obvious thing, but there are a lot of hidden glutens. And so, you know, that took maybe 6 months of research to get rid of all the hidden glutens that are in like natural flavorings, and that they use as stabilizers. But it was a fairly easy transition for us.
Well, I know the challenge myself because especially as a mom of 2 daughters, see now my kids came into this world with a higher consciousness. They wouldn't eat meat. They refused to eat meat. So I even have 2 girls that have never had a hamburger or hot dog or fish. They wouldn't touch it. And I couldn't figure out why, but they wouldn't. And then as they got older, we started to speak about it. So it was very important to us as a family. But I know myself, and this is what I was going to ask you about you guys and your employee. I mean, I was crying in the aisles of, Whole Foods in the grocery store trying to figure out, oh my God, I don't know this new way. So it takes some adjustment and it takes some time, but it really... for you guys, the fact that you guys do so much training with your employees, I understand what goes into that. There's a lot of knowledge behind that type of eating and leaving out certain types of eating. Why would you do it? Also, I think the most important thing is a lot of emotion tied to food. So I grew up Jewish, and Rich Leslie just actually shared with me that you're from Chicago, and my family and I are from Chicago actually as well. and for us, we grew up with certain foods, and there were certain traditions and certain things you eat, and now everyone's so confused, like, oh, you're not going to eat this brisket or this, typical family traditional foods. And so there's a lot of emotion tied to that change, and especially when people develop an allergy, when they find out they can't eat their favorite food, to be able to get something yummy and delicious at your restaurant, it's amazing. So for our birthdays, we went to Agora to eat, and then we headed over to I think we went bowling or something, and then we went to get Frozado. It was like a Hugo's day, all in one day. So because I know that you don't. What were you going to say, Rich?
Well, it's interesting because we tell our new employees that, after a couple weeks, you'll know 80% of the customers. We have a lot of people who do that, who have a Hugo's day,
Yeah.
Well, we can cook for the family. Like, you couldn't do it at home, if people have different diets, and we can accommodate that. We see people 4 or 5 times a week. So, did you try the vegan Reuben this month?
No, but you know what? I didn't eat Reubens before I was vegan, so I'm not sure I would eat that. But there's so many delicious things. I think my daughter loves your blueberry pancakes. There's everybody has favorites. My husband loves a veggie burger. Honestly, I think they would like to eat there 5 days a week. So they ask a lot. Everybody asks a lot. So we want to do that. So, and we do really appreciate the work that goes into the employee side of it, because they're all wonderful. Like, everyone we've encountered have been very pleasant, very knowledgeable, and very accommodating, just very sweet. So we thank you for that as well. So are you guys also mindful of like organic foods and, all that non-GMO discussion and things like that as far as ingredients? It sounds like you would be.
To the best of our knowledge, we're 100% non-GMO. As far as organics go, we go, all of our staples, grains, legumes, rice, things like that are all organic. As far as other things that are more volatile in price, like produce and meats, the answer is no, we can't afford it and maintain our same price range. Our priority list is flavor, because we want everything to taste good so that people will try healthier foods.
Right.
And then non-processed foods is second most important to us, which is why we make 400 different recipes a day to support our cooks. And then plant-based is very important to us, which is in order to do all of those things, we can't do that and everything organic.
Yeah.
Everything on our menu would be 50% higher. I just don't know any other restaurants that would make 400 recipes to support their menu. So that's a lot of labor, it's a lot of time, and it's a lot of love put into it. So, something has to give, and unfortunately that's organic.
No, but that's okay, because there's still so much mindfulness behind it, and with your intention that you have to serve that type of food to people, that's half of it. That's very important.
And when things come within about a 20% variance between commercial and organic, we will switch. We have a whole marketing department that's looking at prices every week. We decide what we're going to purchase and where. And when strawberries come, well, we almost always have organic strawberries, but when other produce comes within that 20% range, we'll switch. But we can't promote it because it changes weekly.
Right. That's understandable.
And we don't want to mislead anybody. I know people see organic rice, organic beans, and they think that we're an organic restaurant, and we're not.
Yeah.
We're maybe 20% organic.
But you know what? Even just that little bit, you're gonna attract the people who are even having some awareness about what they're eating. So I mean, all the places that we used to eat in the past, we do not go to anymore. Not even like once in a while, or not at all. If, family's going there or friends are going there, we either just go and show up and not eat, or, and go eat at your place afterwards or something like that. But we just, so there's people who are just committed to just not doing that anymore. And we all understand what that takes. It's a huge undertaking what you guys are doing. So you were talking about marketing and promotion, just like I have we frequent your restaurants. I didn't know that you have that menu option to do the search for allergen or, different types of food. So what else do you guys do for marketing? Letting people know that that's even available, or, what type of restaurant you are. We did see a billboard. My husband saw a big billboard off the 101, I think.
That's probably the only advertising we've ever done. I mean, we do Facebook posts, Leslie tweets, and to letting people know what's new, what specials are coming out, and try to stir up interest that way. But really, for 35 years, we've relied on word of mouth.
Yeah, which is the best.
Yeah, and there's just really no other restaurant that's doing what we're doing. And I think once people find us and they get over the initial, I'm going to say the initial shock of trying our food, because we don't use a lot of oils and fats in our cooking. We don't use salt. We don't use sugar. We don't use white flour. And so sometimes when people first try it, they're not used to having real food.
Right.
They
don't even know what it tastes like. Yeah.
I mean, I can add butter and salt to anything and make it taste really good. But to make things taste really good without what I call cheating, it takes people 1 or 2 visits to get used to. So, real food has a flavor profile that takes a little bit to get used to. So we rely on the word of mouth, and once people are back once or twice, they get what they're doing, and then it makes it really hard to go to different restaurants, because you're not getting authentic, pure, non-processed whole foods. Go to a restaurant show sometime, you'll be horrified at what you see. When we're looking for products, we go to the Natural Foods Expo and look for new raw ingredients.
Wow. It's amazing. I use I tell everyone's like, how do you know what you want to eat, or how do you know what's good? It's hard to decide nowadays, but I said, use your belly, like use your tummy, how do you, get in touch with how you feel? How do you feel after you ate that? I actually don't want to say other restaurant names on it, because I don't want to do that. I love to shine a light on what I believe in and what I think is mindful and what I think is prana boosting our world and raising consciousness. But I will say that there were some restaurants in the transition that I went back to after I started eating healthier, and I couldn't leave without visiting the bathroom. Like I couldn't even get to the parking lot fast enough. So your body will tell you, it will give you clues when it's time to shift or upgrade or, switch what you're eating. Anyway, so, hearing that you guys offer all of these varieties and word of mouth, I'll tell you, there's one other thing that I really enjoy about your places, at least in Agora Hills. I have a favorite spot that I like to sit at if it's available. But I like the feeling and the energy of your restaurants as well. It just feels really comfortable, and it seems like there was some mindful thought behind the energy of the restaurant as well, besides the food. Is that true?
Oh yeah, yeah. We, one of the things we try to do is incorporate the area that we're in into the design of the restaurant. And by that, Santa Monica Mountains is, as you know, right next to us. And Tom actually works there as a docent, and so we're connected to that area. And we talk about this a lot. The history of that area. There's the Native Americans have been in that area for over 5,000 years, I think you were telling me?
8,000 to 10,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so there's been a culture in that area for that long. So, yeah, we're really aware of where we're at. Agora means gathering. I think it's Greek. So it's an interesting, mix of all those cultures.
And we consciously design the place. We've been feng shuiing our places for 30 years, and we really try to nurture people not just with food but on all levels, and that's why we have in our training program with our staff, we have a gift of service, which is really a mindful technique and how to be present with everybody. And the decoration, the attitude, the food is all wrapped up into one. Nourishing on all levels is very important to us. Yeah.
I knew that. I could feel that because I like the water features and the rocks at the Agora location. I have not been. I have to try your original location in West Hollywood. I haven't been to that one yet. But from someone who with our kids, we do we work with crystals and we do all sorts of mindfulness techniques, and so you can recognize it when you're among it, and it's really important because it's extremely rare. It's just so rare.
Another side note. We pay attention to the Ayurvedic nature of all of our dishes as well.
Okay.
So it's hidden throughout the menu, and if you go to our education website, which is hugos.us, there's a lot of information about what we do Ayurvedically and websites on how you can determine what your body constitution is and what foods would be more favorable to you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, I'll have to include, I'll actually include links to everything once we put the, post this podcast live and everything, because I actually didn't know about that site either. And I love learning about Ayurvedic, eating and things like that. It's something I would love to study more. So this is great, instinctively and intuitively. I thought about it before I even met you, Rich, but it was funny. Once I kept telling my kids and my husband, I said, I have to get them on my show. And I didn't know them at the time was you, Tom, because I didn't know who owned Hugo's. I didn't know who it was. And then I ran into Rich, and it was just meant to be that I ran into, because intuitively I want to get the message out. So I share it with people, and I'm doing that through this interview. And I want to share with people, every link possible. I think if we can teach, especially parents of younger children, is so important to me. I'm actually writing a book on parenting right now, mindful parenting, and it's just so important that we can teach them, the benefits of being mindful of what they eat at a younger age, because we all know it's much harder, when you're older. It's harder to shift and change your habits, and, unless you have a huge impetus like a crowd, like a health crisis or something, it's just... Yeah, it's just more challenging older. So to get to the kids, I think, is wonderful for parents to know that these options even exist.
Yeah.
We're seeing third-generation children at Hugo.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. Very cool. So let me just ask you, what advice do you have for someone who would want... this is going to be probably challenging to answer. You've been doing it, what did you say, 35 years in the business, but what advice would you have for somebody who wanted to go into a business like you, to open a place or feed people in a mindful manner? Would you tell them don't? I'm just kidding.
No, not at all.
It sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
I would start with the best accountant you can find, which we have. Our partner, Bill, is a genius. He couldn't be here today, but the numbers have to work.
Yeah.
The numbers can decide what you're able to do and not able to do. And in order to be a sustainable business, you have to stay in business.
Right.
Other than that, it's I think that we're very passionate about what we're doing, and then you have to back that up with really hard work. So, the restaurant business is not an easy business. I actually don't know what business is an easy business, but, we deal with a lot of guests every day. We have a large staff, and then you have a perishable product. So I don't know about Rich, but I think passion is very important in what you're doing. Passion and hard work.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys. It's a little more personal, but Let me ask you a question about the fact. So you say you have a lot of, intricate team members, and you also have this core based in some core values. So you have you two as the owners. And then you
and
said you
Bill.
have
So there's 3 of us.
and Bill. So there's 3 owners. So what do you guys use as a practice to stay connected and stay on the same page and work through the challenges of owning, all these businesses together?
Well, we have a meeting once a week where the 3 of us get together, if not more, but that one's definitely set. So we go over an agenda of, each restaurant and each, the taco stands and the restaurants. And we also use a lot of community postings. We have our own community organization. What's the right word? But
Online bulletin board?
Yeah, it's like an online bulletin board community thing, so that we write each other. It's not emailing, but you're posting things so that people all through the organization can write and read the answers. So, for example, if there's a question about recipes, one of our managers will post it on the bulletin board, and our chef Nabor will answer the question as to ingredients or how it should be prepared or whatever. So the whole company can see the question and the answers. There's a popular one called Basecamp. We don't use Basecamp, but it's a community-based connector. So I would suggest anybody who's doing a business that is a really important aspect of it, having something that you can communicate with everybody in an easy manner.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah, we have a really good structure that we've been, set up over years
Mm-hmm.
that allows for consistency. So whatever happens in one location happens in every location. If the answer is yes over here, it's going to be yes over there. And I think that's really important. We have a general manager who, is just dedicated to setting all of our staff up for success. And they, in turn, can offer our guests a wonderful experience.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that flows out to the food and the experience. So I can tell you, so from us going there, that something wonderful and mindful has gone on behind the scenes, because it seems like there's good communication. And I'm happy to hear that you guys have that internal, community, so that everybody can stay together. And it sounds like it also helps with a lot of transparency in business. So people, can really stay up to date. A lot of people couldn't really say, oh, well, I didn't know, or I didn't know what was going on, or no one told me. That seems to be really beneficial.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, you guys are awesome. I don't want to keep you too long. I don't know if there's anything else you guys wanted to say. I've really enjoyed our time together and learning about, your restaurants. And like I said, online, I'm going to create a page just because I love it, with all of your links and anything else I can get from you guys. Any other information that you would like people to know, and just keep spreading the word about...
You're breaking up.
Oh, okay. Am I back yet?
You're breaking up. We lost the last bit of what you said. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I was just saying that I want to keep spreading the word, about everything that you guys offer and all the options for everybody. So I'll, make sure that I have all your correct links, and just really help spread the word about what's possible and what's available. So when people are making a decision, to get together with their family, or to, like you said, what'd you say, agora means to gather, to gather together. They have this as an option, so everybody can feel great afterwards too.
Everybody is welcome at our table.
That's
I
right.
like that. I like that. Everybody is welcome. And you're right. I mean, I couldn't cook for everybody what everybody would prefer. Somebody would not get what they want if, I was doing it at my house. And, not that you want to replace having people in your home, but nowadays it's just challenging.
Yeah.
So I would encourage your fans, your group, to go to our website and look at those allergen buttons, and so that they can see all the ingredients that we have in dishes, and they can they can really educate themselves even before they come in, and it'll make their experience a lot more fun.
It's really nice of you to offer. I've had a lot of people give me really dirty, crazy, strange looks. If I ask them about ingredients or what's in something, they look at me like I'm part alien. So, I mean, you're kind of taking the edge off for people who are sitting there doing their research and doing their homework, and to have those links available. I'm not aware of, any place else that really has that transparency in food and ingredients.
Right, I agree. We want people to make informed decisions.
Yeah, and I have two little girls. They're 8 and 10, and they are educated enough that they will take a package and flip it and read it, and they will read a menu, and they will say they don't want to just see the name of what's in it. They actually want to see, well, what are the ingredients? So it's a really good question to ask. So I'm gonna look that up. Actually, I didn't know about the Ayurvedic stuff, and I didn't know about that ability to categorize the foods that you can actually eat. So that's amazing. So I do appreciate both of your times today, and I hope that I meet you in person, Tom, and I look forward to seeing you, Rich, and meeting your lovely wife. She's been awesome, and I just want to say namaste to both of you, and a huge hug and thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much, you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye.